So I was at my daughter's soccer practice the other night, and I couldn't help but notice something that really bothered me about the other parents. I'd say about 90% of them were buried in their phones paying attention to everything except their own kid. This practice was Thursday night, and we were leaving for the juice house here the next morning. I had yet to prep for this very episode that we're recording, and I'll admit that earlier in the day, I thought, if I bring my headphones, maybe I can grab a few clips while I'm sitting there at the practice. Now, after being there for about 2 seconds and observing the other parents, I just knew that I did not want to be like them. I was there to watch my little princess play soccer, and the thought of her looking over at me to see my head buried in my phone just broke my heart. I couldn't do that to her. I wouldn't do that to her. It was so bad at this place that I saw 2 separate women with full-on laptops out trying to look like they were splitting the atom or solving world hunger or something. Like, seriously, is your work that important? How much did you realistically achieve in the hour you were sitting there at your kids' practice? Now, believe me, I'm not trying to sit here on my high horse and pretend that I haven't been one of those parents before, because Lord knows I have. My point is, seeing it the way that I did the other night finally made me realize just how bad it is. Look, we have a phone, the internet, a technology problem to begin with. But in this example, look what it's doing to our families. Look what it's turning our parents into. Think of the type of psychological damage it does to a child that scores a goal and looks over expecting a proud, celebrating parent, only to be crushed when they see that parent working on the Johnson v. the Commonwealth of Massachusetts case instead of paying attention to them. It seems like no big deal, but it is. And it is to them. And it should be to them. We as parents are their whole world right now. And the biggest thing our kids seek from us is our attention. I thought back about scoring a goal in hockey or making a big play in a baseball game, and I can tell you I 100% glanced over to the stands afterwards to see if my parents saw the play. It was the biggest deal in the world for me if an uncle or a cousin came to watch one of my games. I can't tell you how disappointed I would have been if I looked over and noticed that they weren't even paying attention. I understand that we have cell phones nowadays that have an endless amount of information available at our fingertips. I also get that watching our children play sports isn't always the most thrilling experience in the world, but it's still not an excuse. Our parents didn't have to deal with the temptations of modern technology that we have access to today. But that only means that we need to try harder to be there for our children. The modern world, and more importantly, the decadent secular society that surrounds us, strives on breaking up the family unit. What better way to undermine that love and trust than by introducing disappointment and distrust at a young age? You can always get that extra work done after the kids go to sleep, or reschedule that important meeting that you had. You can never get back your child's innocence or their childhood. Please remember that the next time you go watch one of your kids' activities. And with that being said, I do believe it's time to welcome in our good friend, Mr. Ric Flair, because guess what? It is showtime, baby! Woo!
Showtime! Woo!